My name's John Bannister and I'm a consultant for DNA Baits. I'm doing something I rarely do today. I'm actually heading north on the M1 and I'm actually going past the Watford Gap. I'm heading north of the Gap, something I never do. We always think we carp fishing that it's always south of the Gap. There's this big kind of mental, divide with where the fish are and stuff. But I'm going up to Raker Lakes near York. To be honest, I don't even go that far on my holidays. And yeah, I'm going up to meet Mick Price, one of the other DNA consultants. Really switched on lad. He's a very up and coming angler on the big fish scene. And yeah, we're going to be doing a bit of wafter fishing, although it's still only the middle of February. But the boys assure me there's half a sniff of banking a couple of winter fish. Morning Mick, how you doing?
Good morning John, you alright?
Yeah, cool mate, thanks. Cheers pal. What was it pal? Trailer. Oh dear, right, hold that there mate. Right, let's have a look at that. So what's actually happened there then Mick?
So the fish is obviously trailing line, swam through my swim, hooked onto my pink wafter there.
Yeah.
And the other rig, and obviously give me a take, false indication.
Yes, but the good thing is we've got the other rig back in now.
Good thing is the fish is now safe and
yeah, we've
got the rig back.
But it was top excitement for a minute mate.
It was mate, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, cool.
Good for a minute.
Well Mick, that was a bit of an electric start mate, so what happened there then?
Yeah, like I say John, I put the rods out last night. I've had no activity, no liners, nothing all night really. First thing this morning there, that left hand rod's just ripped off. Thought we were in, but
I couldn't believe it as it just turned up as well. I thought, hello, he's in.
I know. Yeah, I mean it is predominantly a day water John. The nights they don't really produce much fish, but through the day they seem to move about a lot more, so yeah. Obviously with the ice that's in that bay I'm hoping there's going to be a few fish trolling the margins. I've just had another liner there, so
another liner.
I'm starting to feel a bit more confident than I was when I first
Saying that though mate, you talk about being confident, I mean what are we, what's the date, 14th, 15th of February?
15th of February, yeah.
Yeah, there's ice all over the lake, I mean,
Are
you on a fool's errand or you got a real chance of catching one mate?
It's a really good winter water John. I mean you do need to be in certain areas, but I am in a good one where I am. I mean I've had some really good days taking sort of 15 fish, 20 fish in a day. When you're on them, you're on them.
And is that in the winter or the summer?
In the winter. It was 2 weeks ago when I had 15 fish out. Yeah. So like you say John, if you're on the fish you can have them really.
So tell us a little bit about Raker then. Do you know much about the history of the place?
I know, I'm not sure the date when it actually opened John, but Steve the owner himself, he was the one who dug the lake out. Yeah. Like I say, I'm not sure exactly how many years ago it was. I'm estimating there's a stock of something around 250 fish. Wow. Which he's putting himself. He's got the stock ponds at the back where he's, he moves fish regular.
He knows what he's doing then, obviously.
He knows what he's doing. There's fish, the fish that aren't grown he takes out, puts them in the stock pond and tries to grow them on.
Cool. I mean I don't like to talk about weights, that's not my thing, but what do they sort of go up to? Anybody watching might be interested in what they got a chance in, I mean
there's a couple of 30s swimming about in here, but there's a really good head of 20s. I mean I've had a fair few 25 pluses now, and in the winter
you can't go wrong with that son, can you?
You can't knock it John, no, not
yeah. And the exciting thing for me, of course, I mean, I'm actually north of the Watford Gap today. Yeah. North Yorkshire, and look at this, the middle of February, and we're going to catch fish, potentially.
Hopefully, John.
Yeah, cool.
See how we go.
Alright, mate. Right, Mick, I'm either a worm man or a bottom bait man. So today, when I found out you was fishing wafters, I was quite keen to come up here and have a look. Because I've got to be honest, I've never really fished with them. So I'm hoping that you can educate me slightly, mate.
I'm a big fan of balance baits. Yeah. I found that over on my last syndicate, they improved my hook holds 100%. I mean, every fish I was getting, they were sort of nailed 2 inches back sometimes. Yeah. I also had a feeling that the fish were feeding from, maybe 2 foot up high. I was using longer rigs.
Right.
With the wafters, they were coming in, sucking and blowing from higher up, and I got pretty convinced that these wafters were coming up, and the fish were getting nailed.
Yeah.
As far as this water is concerned, I mean, my results have just been phenomenal over the last 2 winters using them on here.
Do you know what I can't quite get my head around though? A sort of pop-up or critically balanced pop-up stroke wafter. What's the difference? What they seem to blend into one to me.
Yeah.
What, you know, what's what? I don't. You know, obviously just for people watching, just to clarify things.
Yeah, I mean, a wafter is, like you say, it's a balanced bait. It's a slow sinking bait.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be popped up off the bottom.
Yeah.
So as soon as that lead, I mean, if you're fishing over debris or things like I say on the previous syndicate, I was fishing Tightwet Island, which was sort of 130 yards range. So there's all overhanging leaves, twigs all over the bottom. Yeah. So as soon as I hit that island, I knew that my bait was just slinking slowly, just sitting on top, just perfect.
Yeah.
And obviously the fish were coming in and
taking
well.
it. Yeah, and it's presented well. I mean, it's like I've always said, if you look at humans in terms of picking things up, if we're inspecting things, we pick it up with our hands, don't we?
Yeah.
But what does a fish have to do? The first thing it has to do is pick it up with its mouth, because effectively the mouth is its hands.
Yeah.
So obviously, with a wafter, something that's going to shoot up,
presumably
first.
As soon as they go anywhere near it, they start, investigating it. It's game over.
I think we should investigate this some more then, mate.
Yeah. Time's it, John?
I'll tell you what time it is, son, it's tea time.
Jesus, you drink a lot of tea, you, mate.
Right, Mick, so we've talked about the wafters. I'm dead excited to see them now. So what have we got there, mate, in terms of flavours and colours?
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 different flavours and colours in the range, John. There's the pink perils, we've got the yellow PBs, we've got the milky malt whites.
Yep.
We've also got orange, which are fruity-licious flavoured.
Right, cool. And what sort of sizes do they come in?
Yeah, I mean, they come in a dumbbell shape of sort of 14mm. I've caught on them all, John, to be honest. Each one's worked everywhere I've took them.
Cool. And tell me a little bit about the fluoro, the actual fluoro. I mean, what does that mean when it's fluoro? Is it, obviously we see glow-in-the-dark things these days, see things that are just brighter than other things. I mean, what is it?
It's obviously, fluoro is fluorescent, it stands out, especially, on a day-to-day where you're fishing for that one bite at a time. It can be fished on their own, they can be fished over bait. I found, fishing fluoro wafters over bait last year gave me one of the best seasons I had.
Right.
Certainly the fish were coming in over to pick off my free offerings, but I'm convinced that they were picking these up first, as it was just sitting over the top of my boilie. And
do you think as well, in terms of like, the way the eye makeup of a fish, I mean, I know it sees a completely different colour spectrum to a human being, but do you think that obviously in terms of that fluoro, maybe over some darker baits or brown baits or red baits, do you think it's actually catching its eye?
Yeah, definitely, John. I'm 100% convinced that these fish can see these out over the top of bait. It's certainly not a coincidence that, you keep picking the fish up over the top of the boilie using the fluoro range.
Yeah.
So, for me, definitely a winner.
Right, Mick, we've looked at the wafters, so what sort of rig would you use with the wafters then, pal?
Yeah, there's a couple of different setups that I use, John. I'm a big fan of keeping it simple. I don't like to complicate things. I've got one here what I use when I'm fishing with sort of a meshy bag or even just as a single up bait. It's a coated hook link.
Yep.
Stripped back just above the out an inch in front of the hook, just to give it that bit of movement.
Bit of a hinge in there.
Yeah, obviously where it's coated, just to prevent tangles, and a bit of putty on there to keep it all nailed down to the bottom.
Yep.
On this particular venue, I do favour a size 10 hook, a bit of a smaller hook.
Yeah. Any particular pattern of hook?
I'm using a Corda wide gape here. I've been using them for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Done really well on them. So I've got no reason. Just a bit of tubing just on the top, bit of shrink tubing just to help the hook flip over.
And a bit of shrink on there.
Yeah.
And it really is that simple?
It's that simple, John. Okay, it's lunchtime now in our fishing session. It's a lot milder, as you can see. The temperatures are rising. It's about 10 degrees. I think John's had that many cups of tea now, it's actually starting to melt the ice in the bay. So with a bit of luck, this afternoon we're going to have a fish or two on the bank. So I've just had a line on my left hand rod, so I've decided to retrieve the one which I've cast further right and drop into, because I think there's a few fish patrolling the gully which is close in. So we'll whack it out and we'll give it a go and see what happens.
And when you get in liners, you just can't ignore it, can you, mate?
No, you've got to retrieve them rods. I mean, they're only swimming in through the margin, so I mean it's key on here to fish for them liners, and once you start picking the liners up, start edging the baits back until, with a bit of luck, we'll be in. So as you can see behind me, the ice is still there. It's not showing any signs of dispersing at the moment. The sun's gone in. We've had a look at the long range weather forecast and it is looking better for tonight and tomorrow, so according to the lake owner, he thinks the ice will be gone by Friday morning. So we're going to come back down Friday morning and give it another crack then. Unfortunately that's winter fishing, but we'll see how we go.